The Chicago business scene is as diverse as the city itself, but we don't always hear from the entrepreneurs who keep the Chicago economy colorful. That's where I come in. I'm Micaela Brown, and this is the Minority Report. Sometimes Arabel Rosales blindsides people with her ability to talk art, fashion, and business without blinking an eye. It's that ability to use both sides of her brain that has led her to a successful career at the helm of the technology firm 8AR and Associates. We met at her self-designed office to talk about her Mexican heritage, how that heritage has helped her career, and the biggest risk she's ever taken. Tell me about your background and where you come from.
So my parents are both of Mexican descent. They're Mexican. So my mom is from El DF, and my dad passed away, but he was from the northern part of Mexico.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, 10 years ago. But you know what? I have such great memories of him, and people have such great memories of him that to me he's like alive in everything that I do all the time.
What are their backgrounds?
They developed their own background. So when my dad came from Mexico, he was actually a tailor.
Really?
And they met here. He went to Mexico to ask for my mom's hand in marriage, and then came back here and decided to start their life here, which was very interesting because most of our family is still in Mexico. They
Really?
think we're crazy for living in the United States. Because when my dad came, he started one of the first Spanish TV programs and did what people call now cross-marketing. I think he did it way back then. So he'd be on TV and he'd get like these really famous stars. They would come in, they'd be on a show. He would make the clothes for them, design clothes for them, and then they would go off and market it. And we had about 50 people working for us, and then they would manufacture the clothes, and then we'd get shipments, ordered from all over the world, really, yes.
What do you think is like the greatest part of your heritage that you apply every day to make you successful? And what is something about your heritage that you feel may set you back in your success in business?
Yeah, so my dad always taught us that you had to have a very strong work ethic, and you also had to be very ethical. Like that was ingrained in us. And also I think the family nucleus, that you had to set your priorities straight. So as busy as they always were, the priority was always family. And I know that with me, that also translates that, you see me doing 3 million things, but the people that are around me and work closely with me know that my family is very, very important. I don't know what I could tell you that there's anything from my culture or background that I think sets me back. I think there's nothing that can set you back unless you allow it to.
How is it being not only a woman of color, but a woman in such a highly male-dominated field?
I'm definitely a woman, and I love being a woman. I do. I enjoy it so
like
much.
a woman.
I love it. I think we have so much to offer the world. We really look at things in a very collaborative way, and we think in terms of how will our lives impact a large group, and we're able to multitask, right? It's just part of our natural way of being. I say that though, and I tell you that I don't think about being a woman. I just am.
What has been the biggest risk that you've taken thus far, and what has been the result of it?
Oh my goodness.
Tell me about that.
I don't know if we can talk about all of it. We have a habit to do this, right? In the Latino culture, Mexican culture, me persino y vámonos. I always say, I say a prayer and then let's go.
Yeah.
The thing is, you take on risks, you do it, and then when you look back, you don't really think of them as risks anymore because they're successful, right?
Right.
And the ones that haven't been, I don't think about them too much. I mean, they're gone. It's like fast. Okay, it didn't happen, It's like not part of the history now.
Right. Latino Fashion Week. What is it? I'm so excited to learn more about it.
So my business partner and I, Cesar Rolón Jr., we started it 8 years ago. So when it started, the main purpose of Latino Fashion Week was to try to support local designers here in Chicago. And now it's grown to something completely different. For us, the purpose behind it is to elevate the perception of the Latino community.
How big is it?
And we're now in LA, we're in Dallas, we're in Miami, and here in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Started here in Chicago, and now you're across the country.
We're across the country, and it's great for us because when we go to some of these other cities, what we see happening is will galvanize really people in the fashion industry, but also the community, where in many instances people aren't talking to each other or aren't working with each other.
Right.
And our mentality is like, come on board, be part of the movement, and make this happen.
When we first spoke, you said something about how you use your whole brain, your right and left brain.
You remember that?
I do remember that. Tell me about that.
So to be successful, you have to use your whole brain. You have to understand numbers well. Obviously, technology, you have to be up to date on science and, you know, what are the innovative things. So I try really hard to maintain that balance because I think that to be the most successful that you can be is you have to constantly work those two sides of it.
So use your whole damn brain.
Sure, try. I think there's a lot more there to use. There's a lot more there.
Yes.
I'm trying, yeah.